All righty. While we're gathering our young friends around, let's begin. Good, sunny morning to you. I want to thank you for coming today. And I want to thank our host, Shar Stilley, right over here taking pictures, Director of Programs at Southside Early Learning. Southside Early Learning has been a trusted partner from the beginning of our work, and we are thrilled to share this moment with them today. Why don't you join me in welcoming our youngest members of this press release? Let's give them a round of applause. I am Jane Leach, CEO of Future Ready Columbus. That's my job. That is my job. And Future Ready Columbus, it's a good thing I love hanging with young children, right? Future Ready Columbus is a private-public partnership focused on early childhood education and systemic change right here in Franklin County. We have a big goal. We want to ensure that 100% of our children in Franklin County enter kindergarten ready by 2030. Why is this such an important and big goal that we're all shooting for? Well, right now, only 40% of our children begin kindergarten ready. And research shows just how important that milestone is for the future lives of our children. 90% of our brain development happens in the first 5 years of life. And when children don't enter kindergarten ready, they are more likely to miss key milestones in their childhood. And as a result, they are less likely to graduate from high school, more likely to be under or unemployed, more likely to commit crimes, and more likely to encounter poorer health outcomes. At Future Ready Columbus, we know that accomplishing our goal requires more than fixing programs or increasing services. We need to look at the system as a whole, at all of the factors that play a role in our children's ability to develop, to learn, and to grow. And we also know that we cannot and should not do this work alone. We want to do it together. So earlier this year, we embarked on a campaign to collect valuable insights from the community members that we serve. We held focus groups in church basements. We convened executives in corporate boardrooms and conference rooms. We spoke with child care providers, school teachers, government leaders, and nonprofit directors, and we distributed questions online. In total, we interacted with more than 1,700 individuals across Franklin County during a pandemic. Our work didn't stop there. With those insights in hand, we began to process and analyze the data, incorporating these important perspectives in forming the Future Ready by 5 plan, which we are thrilled to unveil to you today. This plan has been designed by our community for our community. It has been unanimously approved by the Early Childhood Advisory Council and the Future Ready Columbus Board of Directors. And now we're releasing it to the public so every member of this community will understand where we're going every step of the way. The Future Ready by 5 plan is focused on holistic, systemic change. It is built on the understanding that tweaking or adding programs is not enough to change the future for our children. So as I quickly walk you through the plan in just a few moments, you'll notice that it delves into some areas that don't, at first glance, appear to be related to early childhood learning. But as we've come to learn, everything in our children's environment plays a role in their healthy development. And we believe we must address all those factors to affect real, substantive change. The FR5 plan is broken into 4 areas of focus: families and communities, health and behavioral health, high-quality education and development supports, and private and public infrastructure. Within each of these focus areas, we have defined multiple goals and strategies to get us where we need to go. These strategies include everything from creating materials to teach parents how to engage their children in conversation for just 10 minutes a day, to convening a family engagement task force. Why? Because families matter. And here's the best part. As part of our push for collective impact, we are empowering organizations, corporations, and individuals across our community to take leadership roles in each of these strategies. For transformation to be effective, we must all play a role. And I have been thrilled to see how organizations and businesses across our community have risen to the challenge. You'll hear from some of them today. The Future Ready by 5 plan isn't all about equality. It's about equity. The data shows that not everyone in our community has the same access to the same resources and the same support. We cannot create a one-size system or a solution that fits all and expect to make the impact that our community needs. We must address the racial and socioeconomic barriers that have plagued our community and others across our country for generations. Throughout this process, we have been committed to transparency, and that's why we're here today. We want the Franklin County community to know what we're doing and how we're doing it. To that end, additional information about the Future Ready by 5 plan can be found on our website, and we encourage everyone to visit, it's pretty creative, futurereadycolumbus.org. And if you see an area where you want to add insight or lend a hand, then please reach out to us. We want to hear from you. And you can send an email to info@frcbus.org. On a personal note, I have worked in education for more than 40 years. I've been a teacher and a principal in schools across our county, and I have seen firsthand the need for this work. I believe we owe it to our children to give them every possible shot at a productive life. I believe we owe it to our community to ensure the next generation is set up for success. And I believe we owe it to ourselves to leave this world a better place than we found it. I am proud of the entire Future Ready Columbus team and what they have done over the past year. And I'm proud of our partners and board members for contributing their time, energy, expertise, and commitment. It is now my honor to introduce Mayor Andrew Ginther, co-chair of the Future Ready Columbus Board of Directors. And while Mayor Ginther comes up to the podium, let's wave so long to our special young friends who have joined us this morning. Bye. Thank you for coming. Bye. Time to go back inside and get cooled off. Bye. See ya.
Bye, friend. Thanks for coming out.
No, we're gonna play later.
We're gonna play now?
We're gonna play now. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you. Appreciate you. What the toughest part of my day is following that, right? Great to be with you all. Thanks for joining us here this morning on a beautiful morning here on the south side. I want to thank my co-chair, Tanny Crane, and all of our board members. We have an outstanding board of Future Ready Columbus, and grateful for each and every one of them. Commissioner Crawley, thank you for the county's ongoing commitment to this work. You know, we figured a while back that if P3s were good for economic development and downtown revitalization, it should be good for early childhood development and reducing infant mortality and investing in neighborhoods. And so Future Ready is a P3 that we are so proud of. Pat Lesinsky and his incredible team at the Metropolitan Library and all of the staff at Future Ready, grateful for each and every one of you. You know, Jane may have been involved with this work for over 40 years, but I hope to have as much energy for advocacy and her passion for young people once I am at this a little longer, matching up with her years of experience and perspective. I'm honored to be here to celebrate a key milestone on our journey toward 100% kindergarten readiness across Franklin County. Earlier this year, when Future Ready Columbus began the process of collecting community input for the Future Ready by 5 plan, I shared my vision for our city. I want every 4-year-old in Columbus to have access to high-quality pre-kindergarten education. Today marks a significant step forward and further illustrates the simple fact that systemic change does not occur within a vacuum. We must work together across geographical, racial, and socioeconomic boundaries to accurately identify the problems we're facing and develop the strategies needed to address them. It's precisely what the Future Ready by 5 plan has done by focusing its efforts on children from the time when they are prenatal to their 5th birthday. Kindergarten readiness starts with better birth outcomes and taking care of women and their families while they're pregnant to ensure those better birth outcomes. Kindergarten readiness is high quality, affordable child care provided by experienced, educated, loving adults, and high quality preschool. That's what kindergarten readiness is. We can't wait until they're 4 and expect young people to be kindergarten ready. I'm proud of all that's been accomplished over the last year. I'm honored to be a partner in their work. Columbus is America's opportunity city, and our future will be defined by the success and well-being of our children and our children's children. I look forward to working toward the same vital goal and seeing our collective impact flourish throughout the community. My partner in all of this work, as well as an outstanding board, probably one of the greatest advocates in this entire state for early childhood education and early childhood development, the president and CEO of the Crane Group, Tanny Crane.
Good morning. How is everyone? As hot as me? Wow. First of all, I want to thank the mayor and thank Jane for their amazing leadership. How blessed are we to be in a community where our mayor, before his first day in office, has been our biggest advocate for children, and he remains steadfast to this day. A committed city council with Liz Brown over here, committed to early childhood and the continuum of childhood education. We are so lucky in this community, and to be in a place like this is my happy place, the Reeb Avenue Center and Southside Early Learning Center. What a spectacular day. You know, in my day job as CEO of Crane Group, I try to spend my time thinking long term, thinking about vision, developing amazing leaders who actually do all the work, but developing strategies and making sure we have a North Star, making sure we know where we're going and that everyone is stacked hands. Well, that's no different than where we are with Future Ready Columbus. We have a great foundation in place, strong leadership, an amazing staff, a committed and quality board. We have laid the foundation. We have a vision moving forward, as the mayor emphatically stated, and Jane as well. And we want this to roll off your tongues every day, that 100% of our Franklin County children will be kindergarten ready by 2030. This should be our community mantra going forward. And this past year, we have spent with building blocks. Have the vision. This past year, our staff and our board, we challenged each other. We listened to the community, as Jane said. We went out to the community, sought information, tweaked, pivoted, and used our expert Early Childhood Advisory Council, who have expertise in this area and are immersed in this work, for their thoughts, for their ideas, for their strategies, and their leadership. At the end of this, culminating today, we have stacked hands in the public sector, with the county, with the city, with our community partners, nonprofit, faith-based, and the business community. The time for change is now. I have been hanging around this early learning space for 30 years, so I have not quite gotten to Jane's. And I've really never been as excited, as optimistic, as I am today. Because I think, as Jane said, this is not just about quality early learning spaces and accessibility. It is holistic. If we have hungry children, if we have loud trucks, if we don't have affordable living spaces, our children can't thrive. And we know that healthy children in our community are our future. They're our future mayors, they're our future business leaders, they're our future teachers, physicians, parents. They depend on us and they deserve all of our 100% of our commitment. And just a call out to our Early Childhood Advisory Council, of which some members are here, they also represent the best in our community who care so much. They're business leaders, community people, folks from the city, from the county, from transportation, from regional planning experts, you name it. I don't know, about 40 or so?
39.
Have been so immersed in this, and they have committed with us to this vision. So my request to you today is to jump on board. Be our advocates. Be your children's advocates for the future. As Jane said, get involved. We need everyone, because to go from 40% readiness, which is unacceptable, to 100% is going to require all of us to roll up our sleeves. But that North Star, our plan that we have in place, is achievable. And we have to all play a role in that. It is my privilege to support this work and watch it take shape. I want to thank the community for leaning in. The mayor talked about prenatal. We leaned in to celebrate one as a community. The baton is now moving to early learning, prenatal to 5. That responsibility is ours to prepare these children for kindergarten, because the data shows they will be successful in graduating and moving on to bigger and better things. So thank you to all of you, to an amazing Future Ready staff and leader, to our great board and all of our partners. We will get this work done. It is now my privilege to introduce our next speakers, and there are 3 of them. First is our most recent addition to our Franklin County Board of Commissioners, Erica Crowley, followed by our President and CEO of the, Health Collaborative of Greater Columbus. I'm close. Healthcare Collaborative of Greater Columbus, Kerry Baker. And then finally, as been mentioned before, Pat Lesinsky, our President and CEO of our Columbus Metropolitan Library. Thank you very much.
Ooh, it's hot. Good morning. Thank you so much, Tanny. I appreciate that. I am truly honored and excited to be here this morning and be a part of this unveiling of Future Ready by 5 plan. And on behalf of my colleagues in the Franklin County Board of Commissioners, I bring greetings, and we are happy to support Future Ready and Future Ready by 5. I want to say thank you to the board members and everyone who had a hand in creating this plan and caring for all of our children here in Franklin County and making sure everyone has the same opportunities. I'll start on a personal note. Many of you may know, but so for some of you who don't, my career has been in the early childhood education space. I've been in ECE for about 17 years, working on Birth to 5 initiatives, whether it was working with child care centers, helping them get accredited through the National Association for the Education of Young Children, NACCE, or helping child care centers get quality rated or move up the quality rating scale. I also worked for the largest early Head Start program in the state of Georgia. Started out as a partnership coordinator, working with families, recruiting them into the program, and then as a health coordinator, making sure that our babies had their vision and hearing screenings, dental cleanings, immunizations if applicable, as well as identify any kiddo that may have had developmental delays. Anything and everything that a child needed to remove barriers to their learning is what I did, and it's what I do. Most recently, during my time in the Ohio legislature, as ranking member of the Finance Committee, I spearheaded the effort to increase child care eligibility from 130% to 142%. And it needs to be higher. It absolutely needs to be higher, but happy that we were able to make progress. I fought to protect our Step Up to Quality program, fought to decrease infant mortality and our maternal mortality rate here in the state, fought to declare racism as a public health crisis, because we do know how discrimination permeates our education system and decreases opportunities, especially for Black and brown children and those living in poverty, to have access to high quality education. However, these efforts and the things that I was trying to champion at the state are the same reasons that I sought the appointment for the Franklin County Board of Commissioners. The commissioners were already working on these issues in a significant and substantive way with partners like the City of Columbus, Celebrate One, Future Ready, and many others, because they believe that investing in our children and providing every child with the opportunity to thrive and not just survive, and for that, I wanted to be a part of the Board of Commissioners. It is important that our children have positive learning environments and that we support their growth. We need aligned programs and services that meets each child's cognitive, social, emotional, and physical needs. In Franklin County, as you heard, only 40% of our children are ready for kindergarten. This rate is even lower, 26% for Black and brown children and 28% for children living in poverty. And that has a negative impact on our whole community. We need to improve access to services and high quality childcare and remove barriers for families regardless of their zip code. Kids from lower economic status trail their peers from higher economic families, and we know that research continues to show that the gap that children come into kindergarten with is largely maintained throughout their schooling. Academic attention will not solve all of these issues. We need to pay attention to the whole child, including their health and stability. Yes, childcare is an educational issue, but it is just as much as a workforce issue, racial and economic equity issue. The Future Ready by 5 plan understands that and has goals with that in mind. That's why the Franklin County Board of Commissioners have committed over $4 million to provide free training to publicly funded child care programs before the star-rated mandate even went into effect last year. It is why our county partnered with the City of Columbus to administer over $7.7 million in financial assistance to child care programs impacted by the pandemic last year. And that's why, again, my last act in the General Assembly was to protect and increase eligibility for publicly funded child care and ensure that those programs continue to receive high quality learning opportunities. These investments in our future workforce, as Tanny pointed out, it saves taxpayers dollars, it reduces crime, it impacts our whole community and makes Franklin County more equitable. But no one can do it alone, and this work takes all of us, our whole community. It takes the collective to come together in order to fix our broken system, our education system, our childcare system, and to remove the barriers. Future Ready by 5 puts our children and families first, and we are proud to be a part of the work Future Ready Columbus continues to do to strengthen our community. Thank you so much for having me today. It is an absolute pleasure to be a partner.
Okay, thank you, County Commissioner Crawley, to Jane, the mayor, and everyone who's been involved with Future Ready Columbus to date. I'm Kerry Baker. I serve as the president and CEO of the Healthcare Collaborative of Greater Columbus. It is such a mouthful. I acknowledge that. For those of you keeping track, we started in 1999 also as a P3 collective impact agency called Access Health Columbus. Changed our name in about 2014, and I joined HCGC in 2017, and I'm so grateful to be here today, representing one of the strategy leaders in the healthcare and the behavioral health space. We often think about access to education in terms of the effect it has on a child's ability to succeed in life. But as the speakers that we've heard from today have confirmed, education affects so much more than grades and future career trajectories. Research shows that children without access to quality early learning opportunities go on to have poorer health outcomes over the course of their lives. And research also suggests the flip side, and I'm looking dead at Dr. Kelly Kelleher, who would probably rush the stage if I didn't mention that also unhealthy children can't learn to the best of their ability. This symbiotic relationship between health and education has never been more important to highlight and address. Poor health and poor educational outcomes translates to higher costs across our society as a whole and ripples across every other aspect of our community. As we've come to realize, especially through the course of the COVID-19 pandemic, our health is precious. It's important that we invest in it earlier, as it's much easier to protect and preserve our health if we start in the first years of life. As you've heard today, Future Ready Columbus understands that access to early childhood learning opportunities affects just about every aspect of our society, and they're taking a collaborative approach, which particularly resonates with me from the Healthcare Collaborative of Greater Columbus perspective. It resonates with me as well in HCGC's work in leading the Central Ohio Pathways Hub model. We're partnering with 12 different agencies that deploy community health workers who are of, for, and by the communities that they serve, support the medical, social, behavioral, and yes, educational aspects of children, adults, and families in Central Ohio. Jane spoke to our CHWs last week, and I just have to say, not only did she do a great job, as you can see here today, our CHWs were so excited. Even over Zoom, the energy around Future Ready Columbus and Future Ready by 5 as a plan was palpable. You now have an army of community health workers across Central Ohio ready to engage and deploy the strategies outlined in this plan. Maybe most especially, Future Ready resonates with me as a parent, and I know I'm biased, but I have 4 amazing school-aged kiddos. We've lived the challenges of navigating services to be kindergarten ready and now 3rd grade reading guarantee ready, all while navigating our own special healthcare and behavioral healthcare needs, from primary care, behavioral health. We have anxiety, we have ADHD, we have developmental delays, and all of that's a lot for a family. And if it weren't for the support of all of you and all of these systems in Central Ohio, our family wouldn't have been as successful. My kiddos wouldn't have been as successful as they are today. As that mom, I couldn't be more grateful to Jane and the Future Ready team to launch this work, and I'm excited to watch that same collective impact take shape now. As that Future Ready by 5 plan comes to life, my organization, HCGC, will play a role in the health and healthcare work that needs to happen for us to achieve that very lofty and yet very attainable goal of 100% of children ready for kindergarten by 2030, as will many of my partner organizations across the community. I'd like to echo what Tanny said in terms of an advocacy call out. For those of you who may think your work doesn't apply to prenatal to age 5, or the time frame isn't where you feel like you can make an impact, I would challenge you to think differently. The first 5 years of children's lives are vital, not just to the success of those children, but to all of us and this community. Franklin County, Future Ready by 5, HCGC, our mayor, the Crane Group, we all need you. We all need you to have an impact on the future leaders of the Central Ohio area and to help those kids and ensuring that their families are making those early care years as valuable as they can be. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Pat Lesinsky. I'm the CEO of the Columbus Metropolitan Library, and I know I speak for Kerry on this to say that we're so honored to be 2 practitioners, leading 2 practitioner organizations, to be asked to speak this morning, but we represent all of you, and it's just so great to see this wonderful turnout of so many. It's one of those examples of one Columbus all together. Over the past year, the library's public service director for our Young Mind strategy, who many of you know, Kathy Shabadagi, has been serving on Future Ready's advisory council. But long before that, early learning has been a key focus area for the library. From the work that we do in 23 locations across the county, we know that early years in a child's life are critical to creating a foundation for students to achieve 3rd grade reading proficiency and ultimately to graduate from high school. So the renowned researcher, Dr. James Heckman from the University of Chicago, has told us that if a child is not reading at the third grade level by third grade, they're 4 times more likely to drop out of high school. Now, why is that? Because up until third grade, we learn to read. And after third grade, we read to learn. Third grade is not the starting line. Kindergarten readiness is the starting line, and it's all a continuum, and that's why we're here today. We can't have our children be excellent third grade readers without kindergarten readiness. As a library system, we're active in all phases of educational development, and we needed to be involved in the work of Future Ready really from day one. Future Ready brings partner agencies and leaders together to have the critical conversations that serve as the catalyst for stronger collaborations. The Future Ready Plan by 5 outlines clear strategies to advance Franklin County toward the goal of 100% kindergarten readiness by 2030. To accomplish that work, it's going to take the entire community, and the library has volunteered immediately to lead a handful of those strategies and push us closer to that 100% goal. One point I really want to stress here is that becoming a strategy leader doesn't have to require a huge investment. One of the initiatives we've launched is creating flyers to distribute to parents who come in. We deliver them at story time to make sure that they understand every moment counts in the life of their child. For instance, they can take a minute to ask their child how they are today, which not only demonstrates the parent's care, but also promotes dialogue and helps the child develop emotional intelligence. Or a parent or caregiver can write a letter on a Post-it note, put it on the refrigerator, and proclaim it the letter of the day. How many words or how many images is a child able to identify that begin with that word? That may seem very simple, but it is the sum of these simple acts that creates the foundation that is needed for our success. We're hard at work on other strategies as well, and we're striving for new ways to connect during the pandemic and to forge additional strategies to help our communities recover. Our current way of supporting our youngest residents isn't providing all of our children with the resources, access, and support they need to enter kindergarten, and it's going to take a village in order to change it. It's important to note that the lack of kindergarten readiness is not a reflection on schools, because they embrace and welcome children in most instances for the first time in kindergarten. But the lack of kindergarten readiness challenges the child throughout their school tenure. H.L. Mencken once said that for every complex problem, there is a simple solution that's wrong. If this problem were easy, we would have solved it decades ago. That doesn't mean we give up. That's not what this community is all about. It does, however, mean our approach has to adjust to meet the current challenges at hand. It's why I'm honored to be here on behalf of the library today and to be a part of this work. Future Ready Columbus has brought together critical thinkers and strategic leaders across all sectors who believe in our collective ability to change the future for our children and for our community. We're all standing up and saying, this is important. Let's continue to share the best ideas and what we've learned, and let's continue to move forward. Thank you.
Two quick things. I know we've heard from a number of great speakers today that have been very involved with this. But we wouldn't be here today. Did we lose her? Did Councilmember Brown just leave? Oh, I was going to invite her up to say a few words, but we weren't sure we were going to have her, and we've already lost her. But I want to acknowledge Councilmember Liz Brown. Not only is she our finance chair, education chair, president pro tem, and probably one of the greatest advocates for children and families in our community. So Kelsey in her office is here, and please let her know we want to thank her and acknowledge her for her work. For the reporters, we're going to take questions on Future Ready this morning here. If you want to ask me, as you know, I'll stick around and answer any question on any topic under the face of the sun, but we'll do it across the street. I'll get you guys in some shade and let you guys have a shot at me across the street. But if you have questions about Future Ready, these folks know a whole heck of a lot more about it than I do. So we'll take those questions after Jane wraps us up.
Well, thank you for coming to this incredibly special event today. And what a glorious day we've had. I want to offer sincere thanks to our presenters, to the Early Childhood Advisory Council, to our board members. What a powerful group. And we will become more powerful as we all raise our hands and say, count me in. I believe in what I heard today. I want better for our community's children. And I'm going to tell the world about Franklin County making sure that 100% of the children are ready for kindergarten by 2030. And now we know why. It changes their life trajectory. Join us, please. I will step aside and answer questions as well. And I just thank you so much for coming. And I wish you the best of beautiful days yet to come. Take good care. Good. Thank you.